Yes, kia ora. Welcome into another week of the form, and what a weekend we've got to look forward to, where we preview the best races with our best analysis. And joining me once again on the form is Leith Innes. We've got the Caulfield Cup Group 1 racing at the Bay and the Everest. What are you most looking forward to?
Look, it's you're going to have 3 different race meetings. You're going to be watching, both channels. It's a little bit sad that Hawke's Bay is going to get a heavy track again, but it's going to be great to be on course.
And being on course with you is Bevan Sweeney, who'll be joining us on the form once again this week, and Aidan Rodley, who's beaming in across the Tasman from Sydney. Aidan, we'll start with you. What's your favourite? A little bit hard. You're in Sydney at the moment with the Everest, or are you a Caulfield Cup man?
I'm a purist, of course, Pippin, so that means stayers, Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup, but it's hard not to get swept up with the hype that is the Everest. We've landed in Sydney, we've done the barrier draw promotion, been out on the $20 million yacht along with all the hoi polloi of Sydney media, trainers, owners, etc., and done a couple of really good things. Been out this morning at Rosehill, where we are now, and seen nature strip work with James McDonald and spoken with Chris Waller as well. We'll bring you all that info very shortly. And fantastic to see on Wednesday the Gloaming Stakes, and a really nice win from Sharp and Smart. Hopefully now on to the Spring Champion Stakes here on Saturday week, and then on to the Group 1 Victoria Derby. But yeah, it's hard not to get swept up in the hype that is this massive 15 million Australian dollar race.
Oh, absolutely, Aidan, especially when you're getting on a super yacht. And we'll now head to Bevan Sweeney. Bevan, I'll say a very good morning to you. You'll be back at the Bay on Saturday. I bet you're looking forward to that. And we've got a really nice meeting to look forward to as well.
I thought they were out on Aidan's yacht, actually. Yeah, very good morning to you, Pip, and to the team. Looking forward to the Bay on Saturday. It's just a great day of racing. I like seeing fast horses go around and good horses run, so should be a lot of fun across the trackside channels with the Australian and New Zealand content. The weather's played its part. We'll give you more on that shortly from Richard Fenwick. It will be a heavy track there at the Bay, which always just takes a little bit off the day being Group 1.
Yeah, it really does. Well, let's have a look what's coming up for you on the form, and we'll be starting with our Group 1 preview out of the Bay, the Group 1 Livermore Classic, the preview, the Group 3 Red Badge Sprint over the 1400 metres, our race trackers as well to follow, the feature race, the Group 1 Caulfield Cup, as well as the $15 million Everest, and our best bets to round out the weekend. Time to preview our Group 1 of the weekend out of the Bay, and Bevan Sweeney. Look, the weather gods, they haven't been nice to us of late, so what can we expect on Saturday? Are we going to get something a little bit better? No, Pip, that is the answer. They've had 70 mils over the last 24 hours. It is still raining there. The track, according to Richard, is a heavy 10 at this present moment, so it's only going to get, if anything, worse. So we are in for another wet race meeting, Group 1, Day 3 at the Bay, although we missed out on the middle day. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. It is, and look, there's some trainers that will be happy with that. Their horses can get through it. So let's have a look at the market for you. One of those is Mustang Valley. She is your favourite for Andrew Forsman, $2.80. Prix Fur, next favourite in the market at 4.2. Defibrillate comes into the race fresh at 7s, and Vernon Me at $7. Soldier Boy 2 at 10s, looking for 3 straight. So that is your market. So let's Leith, 2,000 metre start, of course. What can you tell us about the start? How long do you have to get in and bustle for a position, and do track conditions make a difference?
You get a nice 300 metre run into the winning post. Obviously on Saturday it's going to be a heavy track, so there's not going to be so much tension going into that first bend.
Well, let's have a look at where we think they will be sitting in the all-important speed map. Barrier draws coming into the 4. What are you expecting? Obviously True Enough. You expect him to lead?
Yeah, True Enough. He's sort of he hasn't won a race for a couple of years, but he looks probably the likely leader in the race. Or Felina Baby sitting outside him over 2,000 metres. Fields of Gold's going to probably go pretty forward as well.
What about you, Bevan? Do you agree?
I do agree. The interesting thing was I thought there was a spot for Prix de Feu forward from his awkward gate. Whether he gets there on the back of Mustang Valley is my only real question, but just with the speed in the race, and I don't think there's a lot. I think he can slot in there somewhere. It'll really be dependent by this part of the day whether the track is playing out wide, because those inside draws around Soldier Boy, Defibrillate might be a real again by that part of the day. But that's something Pip will just have to assess throughout the meeting.
Well, let's have a look at the key lead-in race. It is the Arrowfield Plate over the mile, and of course it was moved to Matamata. And really the race to have a look at here, Mustang Valley, she was brilliant late in the piece, but a couple of other nice performances as well, Leith.
Yeah, all the trainers would have been pretty happy on Monday when the news came through that Le Creek wasn't going to back up. But there was a couple of nice runs. Verna was probably the run of the race for me, if going to a 2,000 metre race. Mustang Valley's was massive. Her section was through the roof as well.
I have to agree. I thought Mustang Valley massive. Verna Me's an improver. And don't forget about Green Luck, who kept on hitting the line after having not a lot of luck in the run back on the inside, and did find the post nicely as well. Look, Le Creek's not there, so that's made this much more even type of race. Prix de Fer, well, I suppose around him it's track conditions. She was clearly the quickest, Mustang Valley. Prix de Fer hit the line nicely. Verna Me was tough after running early. And Green Luck, again, not a bad little sectional home, so up to the staying trip of the 2040 might bring that particular horse into it. But I think this race has changed shape for two reasons. Le Creek comes out pip and the rain that has come.
And a runner not coming through the races, defibrillation. Brendan Popwell did catch up with his trainer Graham Richardson and just asked him what he thought about him coming into the race fresh.
It wasn't an easy decision, but I thought, I didn't want him having his first up run over so many months and a mile, and then backing him up the following week. It was just disappointing with the weather at Hastings. No one's fault, just the way it is. But it's never the right decision, but I'd rather it went this way. He's good fresh, but and he's done enough work. He's had those trials, and so we'll see.
Yeah. His Australian form is very strong. Good to see him back here in NZ. Just what was the thought process about bringing him back here to New Zealand?
Well, he's sort of nearly reaching his limit over there. He's going to want 2 or 3 more, but I thought, well, he's very capable of winning Group 1s here with his Aussie form. I mean, he's run 1.7 lengths from the winner in the Australian Cup at weight for age last year. So that was and it was a big effort. Some of his efforts were really good over there. So, but I thought, he's an 8-year-old, but he's had 27 or 28 starts only. So he's fresh legs.
Yep. Looking at long-range weather forecast, I mean, there is some rain about. The track is slowly coming back, but if it is going to be wet track, as many are expected, what's your thoughts on that? He does have a wet track win here in New Zealand when he was here.
Yeah, he'll go around. He doesn't mind a wet track within reason. I mean, slow track would be his best option, but he's all right on a heavy track.
And of course, it was a winner back in February at Caulfield over the 2,000 metres, Leith. What did you make of his Australian form? And look, as he alluded to there, has won on a soft before. Yeah,
if he brought any of his Australian form, he's got to be a top 4 chance. It's going to be some training effort, fresh up into a 2,000 metre race on a heavy track.
And this is on a good 4 surface, so obviously, ideally, they're not going to get the track conditions that they're looking for. How tough is it to start over the 2,000 metres on a heavy track like this? Would you still be backing him just based on what he can do across the Tasman?
Yeah, you'd have to say he's not without a chance because he has a classy horse. He showed that in Melbourne. He's had 2 trials over 1,200 metres to get fit for this. But like I said, I'd have to have a little question mark just because he's fresh up over 2,000 metres.
Always that little bit of a query, isn't it? Well, Bevan, a couple of Central District raiders are heading into the race. We've got Soldier Boy and Just Ask Me. And Soldier Boy, one that you've really liked and has that nice derby form coming in.
Yeah, they're 2 really good chances, actually, with the way the weather has prevailed. And, of course, NZTR's boss, Bruce Sherrick, has a share in Just Ask Me, along with Tony Kemp and Al Sheikh Sharok as well. Now, this is Soldier Boy. Now, if you hark back to the previous performance of Mustang Valley at Hastings, Semper Magico is in that same race. Now, it is in the fight here. The margin's very, very similar. They put real pressure on him this day. I'm not sure exactly why they took off like this, rode him forward and put up 8-10 lengths on this particular field. I think he could have beaten them with just a soft run into it. So they really set him this day. That was more than likely to get him ready for the 2,040 metres. I hope it doesn't take its toll on him, but he is a very good trainer as well, Mr. Sherrick. And here's Just Ask Me. Mustang Valley wins this race. Look, she was in front a long way from home, and she wins. But I thought there was a couple of nervous moments, but she's backed that up brilliantly at Matter. She's got that really interesting action. But we're looking at Just Ask Me down the back of the field in the black and white of Alan Sherrick. And he's going to boom home again. He's crying out for 2,000 metres. He's getting very even in the weight market, clearly at weight for age. He'll love the wet track condition. He has to be an each-way player in this particular race. Now, Soldier Boy, if the inside of the track is playing okay, will hold the trail. From there, he is a serious horse. If you go back and review his run in the Derby, it was fantastic. So I don't think the trip's any worry for him. The heavy track conditions, I don't think are a major concern for him. If the inside's okay, he's in the trail, he also is a very good each-way play. However, the informed horse in this particular race, and we have seen it since day one at the Bay, is Mustang Valley. She's proven she's better on good on decent ground, but she is so good on wet tracks, Pip. And from my particular speed map, I have her in a sweet spot in the run, not down on the inside, one off. She'll get her chance and she's flying. So it has to be her, but I think there's some really interesting shopping in behind her.
Yeah, there really looks to be, doesn't there, Bevan? Do you agree, Leith, or are you heading somewhere else?
No, I think Bevan's probably, he's correct. It's still going to come down to what handles the heavy track, and Mustang Valley, you know, she's going to swim. She loves it. Alan Sherrick just asked me for this race as well, so I can't sort of go past those two, really.
And you can see it all unfold. Race number 8, Tiabi Trackside 1 on Saturday, 4:26, and find out who becomes a Group 1 winner. We're staying at the Bay and we're having a look at the Group 3 Red Badge Sprint over the 1,400 metres. Bari at 4.5 leads the betting, times ticking at $6. The Perfect Pink as well will see step out at $6.50. And Spring Tide at double figure odds at $10. Bevan Sweeney, I'm sure John Barry will be happy to get this gelding back on his home track and over this distance.
Oh, he will, and I suppose the thing about this race being transferred from the middle day is that it had 6 in it on day number 2. We'll look at the field today, it's massive, and he's a leading player here, Spring Tide, because MO around racing is a little bit hit and miss, and he was disappointing at Matamata, but Leith, this performance in the Group 1 over the 1,400 metres was an outstanding performance. He has to carry 60, but he's got a bit of class.
Yeah, Bevan, he's going to get the same sort of track conditions as well. If he brought any of his form to this race, you'd think he'd be going close to winning. I just thought he was a little bit too disappointing at Matamata on the better track. But hey, back to his home course, he may come out of the race a bit better.
Okay, Bari's a major player. The good draw, the good, decent early speed should see this horse maybe leading, maybe sitting in the 1-1. We've got our attackers, our Alley Cat, Tevis Court, Sergio, all going forward. So he's going to get the right spot, but we saw Darcy Labella dominant in the Group 3 Saturday at Hawara, and this was a nice performance from Bari.
Yeah, he's always shown something, this horse, and he's never gone a bad race. He's only got 53 kilos on his back as well, so he's got to be a major player.
A couple of other performances coming out of that particular race. Germanicus, I thought okay, and our Alley Cat. Now, this is time ticking. He's a real interesting horse in this race. He has got great quality. He's heading down to Riccarton to go over the 1,600 metres. He's had a few niggles. He had a stone bruise before the Opuniki Cup, and even after this, I think he had sore heels, but he's a horse of all sorts of quality, and this is his trial the other day. The time was pretty good over the 12,000 metres for the day, and he's got to be a chance, Leith, for Albie.
Yeah, exactly, and Albie's a great trainer, and look, the horse loves a heavy track as well, and you've got Opie on board, so it's a pretty even race, isn't it?
It is, and another man from your part of the world, Ian Wyeth, of course, is the owner of Old Town Road. Now, this wasn't a bad field, the 75 1,200 metre event, and put him away in a couple of big hops. You're looking forward, then you see the centre of the track, and they were chasing a Mimi from around about the 250. Big, strong horse. He's got the shadow, the side winkers on there. And but they were chasing a Memory here. Crossroads flashes in. But look, it'd have to be a lightweight chance, Leith.
Yeah, you think so. And you know he's going to get the track conditions to suit. So, you know, Lisa Ladder's got him flying at the moment.
Hard race to select. I have to say it is very, very difficult to come up with the winner. We've got a lot of time for Times Ticking and Spring Tide out of the Central Districts. Times Ticking, he's drawn the car park, so he'll have to be back. Spring Tide gets the perfect run in this race from that particular draw. If he runs up to the Group 1 performance of 2 starts ago, I think he has to be right in it. And then, look, I'm going to respect Old Town Road. But if I was going for one in this race, I'd throw it towards the Wairarapa and Times Ticking. What about you, Lee? I'm
going to go for Barry. Margaret Faulkner's horses are going really well at the moment. So, you know, lightweight. Yeah, I think he's the winning chance.
And you can catch all the action nice and early too. 10:30 a.m. kicking off with the Punters Lounge to grab all that oil. that time again. Our racetrackers, horses and dogs to follow for the weekend and throughout further. And Leith, you've been finding a couple for us as well, so what do you like?
I'm going back to Matamata last week. La Bella Bells, to make things even worse, it runs fourth and gets beaten in the nose for third, so it didn't help the punters very much, but she's going to be racing at Te Rapa on the 22nd of October in a rating 75 race, and I think she's knocking on the door to get a win soon.
That's a real kick the cat scenario if you've got a couple of dollars on, isn't it, with the run and Transit, but certainly one to follow. I'm going back to Hawara, the last on the program. This horse is at $14 in the New Zealand Cup. Lee's spoken about it off day number 1 at Hastings. It was $18 there. It's $14 now in the New Zealand Cup, and its name is LJ41 Katie Myers. Now, I didn't think it was any chance, and I wasn't sure where it was placed in this race to go down to the New Zealand Cup because another one might have pushed it up. But it got well back. Watch this. You think it actually wins at the line, diving through the middle. Very similar performance to the Bay. This horse is flying. It's at $14 in the New Zealand Cup. I recommend you put $1 each way.
Especially with Kevin Myers, the trainer there. And I'm going to a greyhound. Wheels on Fire for Tracy and Lisa Craik. This is him here in the green rug, and what you can't see on the head on is he just tries to accelerate, gets a decent check from the 5 early, and then have a look at the dog in the white rug because it just will not leave him alone. He's an out-and-out railer, this greyhound. He wants it more than anything, and he's trying to get there, and unfortunately for him, he got on the wrong side of Law Redeemer, and he just kept pushing him out, ends up finishing last. He downgrades. He finally gets an inside Elliott Sunday at Monaco. Box number 2. I think his main danger is my best bet from last week, Mintaz. I think he can bounce back. He was one of the best dogs going around Monaco 6 months ago, and he just hasn't had luck. So keen on him. Note them down, follow them coming up further on, like the New Zealand Cup for Bevan Sweeney, and just on Sunday for mine with Wheels on Fire. Time to head to Victoria because we look forward to the Group 1 Caulfield Cup as well on Saturday. Let's take a look at the market for you, and it is headed by Smokin' Romans. Jamie Carr's ride $4.50 for the Mar Eustace team. Nonconformist at $9, second favourite, joint with Bonneau, and then you've got Alerion there at $11 and Duas at $12. Gold Trip 2 at that quote. So pretty open market here. Race number 9, the Caulfield Cup, and across the page, longer odds, you've got the likes of Val and Declare as he heads towards that Melbourne Cup, not too far away at around $16. A couple of races to highlight here. We'll start with the Group 1 Turnbull. Well, Smokin' Romans wins this race, Bevan, but some nice runs in behind. You've got Maximal there. Gold Trip was stuck 3 wide right throughout the trip. An Inspirational Girl, she was held up from the 500 metres and just couldn't get clear air to the last 100, but have a look at her hit the line strong. Yeah,
it was an interesting race. Look at the best ride won, didn't it, with Smokin' Romans there in front in the Frampton colours. But weights and measures is something that history would tell you this horse is perfectly positioned in this particular race, down on that really light weight on the performances he's put up across his last couple of starts to be the winner. And that'll set Wingatui alight if that was to happen. I thought Great House went nicely there. I know it's a ducky in the form line, but might be one to come into it. Leith, great to see a Kiwi bred in this particular race, and look, he is a good star, this particular horse, and he showed that he really stretched out late.
Yeah, he drops down to 51.5. It's going to be a big plus around Caulfield. They didn't go overly hard in that race, so it was pretty hard for those back markers.
Yeah, there's a few chances. It's that sort of race this year. Bonneau is another one that we need to take a quick peek at. Of course, was close up in the Derby at Randwick through last season. This is the last start performance in the Might and Power, running into 6th on this occasion. But the horse has got all the staying credentials. It just is a question whether this is right up his alley this year, Leith, but he certainly keeps on finding the line in a race where it didn't change a lot.
No, and he drops back from weight for age down to 53 kilos, and he can handle a little bit of an off track as well.
A couple of little bit of odds. No Conformist back in the race from the second and last year's performance. You see Great House there, who was 5th, and you see Chapada, who also goes around this year in this year's Caulfield Cup. Just got cluttered up at this stage. I think if this horse was to the outside and not having to move that outside runner, he would have got closer. Wouldn't have been beating the favourite for Nix, but a nice enough performance to back this horse up again in the Caulfield Cup.
Yeah, look, I think the whole plan, they've set him for this race since last year, and he's been running in races where he probably can't win with the weights that he's been carrying, and he likes Caulfield.
What a story out of Waverley. It is no compromise. His last start performance, just brilliant. So handle wet track conditions. He might have won 165 in New Zealand before he went over to Australia, and he might have had 12 starts before that, but he's gone over to Australia and he's in an impossible position at a point in this particular race. But he's tough, Leith, and that might be what's required to win this race with the weather forecast, and he changes ground and he just keeps on attacking the line.
Yeah, it was a super ride by Tommy Berry. I see that he's got off it to ride something else. It's just amazing how Chris Waller gets these stayers to hold their form as well.
It is amazing. He's the sort of horse that if it's a tough old fight, he will be right in the mix. I'd love Smoke and Romans to be winning this race. In fact, I think he is the major player in this particular race. If I wanted to find one outside the square, it would be great house for Chris Waller. They're just winning everything at the present moment. He's steered up into this race and he's been consistent in some really good races. What about you, Leith?
I'm going to go with Benno. I think it was just a nice practice race, weight for age last start, and you know, you take his form out of the Derby last season to Tosu. It was 2,400 metres. It's got a little bit of a timing about it.
And I'm going with the inspirational girl. Might be talking out of my pocket there after getting held up last time, but I just really like the way she eat up the line and comes in with that lightweight as well. And you can catch all that action once again. TAB Trackside 1, race number 9 out of Caulfield. Time to preview the Riches race on the turf. It is the sprinters going to war in the Everest, and Aidan Rodley will bring you back in. What weather and track conditions can we expect on Saturday?
Well, it's obviously been pretty wet here, Pip. The rail will be in the true position for this big day of racing. We did see a lot of rain leading to the abandonment of the last 4 races out of Randwick last Saturday. We saw the weather at Warwick Farm yesterday and just how testing conditions were there. A heavy 9 track, so it will be interesting just to see how they go, but this is a big show and it will go on, Pip.
It absolutely is. So let's have a look at the market for you. Yes, the favourite, no surprise to see, is Nature Strip. James McDonald for Chris Waller, $2.20. Lost in running, though, one of the real newcomers in the race, $6.50. Eduardo, he's back again at 8.5. And then some longer odds across the page as well with Kementari at $51. Let's have a look at one of the key lead-in races, the shorts. Nature Strip winning here, Aidan. Nice runs in behind, though, from the likes of Overpass and Lost in Running.
Yeah, they sure were, Pip. Overpass has gone terrific, and we saw him yesterday at Bune Bakers as well. He's in really good order for this as well, and Lost in Running has since gone on to win the Premier Stakes. But this day, James McDonald is able to get from barrier 2 to the front and dominate proceedings the way he does. This was his first race back in Australia since winning at Royal Ascot, so he's obviously come on with that. All the reports have been good around his track work since, and yeah, a really nice win, as you saw there. Overpassed pretty good just in behind. We've seen Nature Strip breeze up the straight here at Rose Hill this morning, and after that I did talk to Chris Waller, just asked him how that worked today compared to his normal Thursday work.
A lot slower. So yeah, it's only 2 days out from the Everest and the work's done. It was just about show this morning and making sure the horse doesn't get too fresh. So yeah, very much what we call 3/4 pace, which is exactly what it is. It's 3/4 their speed, and just keeping him calm, keeping him simple.
He feels unbelievable, so he's ready to go, and there'll be no real excuses. He'll be there fighting out the finish, I'm sure.
Describe him as a ride.
He's beautiful now. He's been a work in progress, obviously, but track work, he's a pony now. And but in saying that, once he gets into the straight, he builds pretty quickly. But he's just a ball of muscle. He's, as you can see probably from your footage, he's big, strong. He's a powerful galloper, and no, he's a pleasure to ride. He's like a rocking horse, to be fair.
Yeah, and you've got such a great record on him. What about this weekend? How does the Everest pan out from a wide gate?
Yeah, no, it looks all right. He adapts well from those sort of stalls, and I'm sure he'll be very comfortable. It's a very competitive race, and he's going to have to do the first half pretty well to obviously sustain that gallop on heavy ground, which it's probably likely to be. But he's in good form, so whatever happens will happen.
He's got the world highest rating of a sprinter for a reason. He's very good and consistently very good. So we just have to hope that he brings that game to the races on Saturday. And you're always looking for the up-and-comers. So we don't need an up-and-comer turning up on Saturday.
So Chris Waller there speaking about some of the best horses who are up against Nature Strip this weekend, and it will be interesting to see tactics from James. There's suggestions that the former Hong Kong horse, that Eduardo as well, that will hold up to the first two inside spots. Let's go back and have a look at Lost and Running. Here's the Kiwi bred, the Purring Canto, of course, bred by Lib Patania, who retains a majority shareholding. This last start win in the Premier Stakes. Look at the horse get home out wide, and Mazu kicking on for second. Masked Crusader making really good ground towards the inside, and they're talking about Masked Crusader being one of those horses who will really benefit from a strong speed into the race. And on that, Lost and Running has to be at some sort of chance, just peaking at the right time. Overpass probably not as good that day in behind them, Pip, as we'd seen previously in the shorts as well. Ask me for a selection on the race, I'm going to stick with Nature Strip. I'm going to get on the train up and swept up in the hype. We're all about Nature Strip here in Sydney. Let's hope it's a Kiwi win for Chris Waller, James McDonald and Steve Hansen. We're going to catch up with Steve in the coming hours as well here in Sydney.
I can feel your enthusiasm right from here, Aidan. I certainly hope so. What about you, Leith? Are you with Nature Strip as well?
Yeah, I think it's going to be another James McDonald payday. Barrier 12, it's probably going to suit the horse, really. I'd rather be drawn on the outside than one or two. The track's going to play probably a little bit off as well, so it's going to be a great race.
Oh, it is, and we can see it all unfold. TAB Trackside 1, race number 7 on Saturday at 6:15.
Majestic Legend out by 5 across the top from Go Johnny Go's got a round triggered, and then Opawa Rowan kicking on, margin back, the others Opawa Kirk, Opawa Albert, Majestic Legend though most of the way. Mintaz in front from Lethal Angel. They get away here on Opawa Solomon and Go Clifford, and Mintaz wins the last from Lethal Angel.
To get my fair share.
Soldier Boy and Taylor Mitchell, big leaders halfway down, trying to chase hard Semper Magico. Back behind these runners then is going to be over on the inside, So Call Me, but he's a class horse. And Soldier Boy's race right away with this one. And Soldier Boy out by a widening 7 or 8 lengths.
Even Old Town Road, the plugs come out, leads by a length and a quarter. Hot and Treacherous, Last Tango in Heaven. Old Town Road, he's a budding superstar, that's for sure, and he'll treat these with contempt as well. Old Town Road, here's Prick.
Well, you just might find you got what you need.
Yes, we got some of the chocolates last weekend for you, and let's hope we can get the ball rolling. We'll start with you, Leith. What are you liking this weekend?
I'm going to go down to Ashburton, the Canterbury Bell Stakes. I'm with One Kiss. Obviously, she won down here last start with Opie Blossom on. Apparently, she had an exhibition gallop last week at Ashburton, and she's come through the race. She's in tip-top order.
Certainly does look at Leith, and a fair bit of stretch about One Kiss there. I'm going to head to the Bay, and I'm going to go with the horse that's in fine form. I don't think the rain affects it at all. Section of YOLO has been brilliant across its last 2 starts. It cleaned them up at Wanganui in a 65, stepped up to 75 grade here at Awapuni, and she cantered into it. And this race is over a long way from home. Her time on the day was very, very strong. She just seems to have found another leg. She's out of a very good dam and take 3 for the Trotter family. She's by Z out of an Al Akbar mare. She's bred to swim. She got through that ground like it was a firm track. But she's got the first race on the day. She's got 53.5 on her back from a good draw, not an overly strong race. I think the money about her will further disappear come race day.
I'm going to stay in Sydney. Obviously, we're over here for the Everest, so I really need to get an Everest best bet, and that's going to be Nature Strip. I'm going to hop on the train. It was a Kiwi who first scaled the Everest, and perhaps it's going to be James McDonald, Chris Waller getting there second, and of course, with all those Kiwi connections in the ownership as well. He has been brilliant at Royal Ascot. He's been brilliant in the shorts resuming. He's got a wide gate to overcome Pip, but I think he'll be just too good. I'm looking forward to Nature Strip winning the Everest this weekend.
Love it, Aidan. I'm sticking close to home. I'm heading to Monaco on Sunday, and I'm going for a greyhound that was actually runner-up and behind Mint as last week, and her name is Lethal Angel from Jared and Denise Cotham's kennel. And look, she just has the electric speed here. Yes, she gets picked up by Mintaz, but they run the fastest time of the day, and he's a quality greyhound. I can see her mapping to lead this race. I think she wins race number 9 on the program. She is in on Thursday as well, so you might get it around $2 for it. I think that's good enough shopping, and those are our best bets for the weekend. The whale, well, he's with Darling Me on Fridays in great form at the moment too, is Craig Thompson, and we also do have the rest of them there. Justin Evans with Ange de Vere on Saturday, race number 5, meeting code 4. Well, that's it, team. Thanks everyone for joining us once again. Leith, Aidan and Bevan. We look forward to Leith and Bevan anchoring us at Hastings on Saturday. Aidan tuning in from Randwick as well. That's it. You've been watching The Form. Hopefully you find a winner or two on the punt.